Terry.
And I'm Angel.
And welcome to our Walmart grocery haul, meal number 5. One of my favorites. I can't wait.
I know, me too. We love wings, and especially when it's made with cauliflower.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you've had lots of cauliflower wing recipes, but I'm telling you, this one takes the cake because I've tried a lot of them. So let's go. Let's get with it. With our cauliflower wings today, we are going to also have, I'll call it fried red tomatoes instead of fried green tomatoes, just because green tomatoes are hard to find when you want to make fried green tomatoes. And I wanted to buy everything at Walmart so that you guys could do the same. So what the heck? We're gonna
this is new. This is new, right?
This is new.
Okay.
This is new. So we'll see how it turns out, but I think it's gonna be awesome.
Okay.
So, and we're gonna make those crispy too. And hey guys, we are gonna be crunching and crunching and munching and crunching. I love it.
Okay.
So I wanted to show you, honey, you can start chopping the rest of the cauliflower. So Terry always chops the cauliflower for me when we do this meal, which is half the battle or more. And he chops it so nice. I mean, he chops them into these bite-sized pieces. You can make yours any size you want. That's the fun. You get to make the wings the size you want to. But he just does such an amazing job. This is one head of cauliflower that we're using today. And so Terry started chopping that. In the meantime, while he's chopping that, I'm gonna mix together what we're gonna do for our cauliflower wings, or you know, the dredge, if you will.
Okay.
So I'm going to use 1 cup of garbanzo bean flour. This is not a must. You don't have to do it. I buy this in really big bags and just put it in here, but it's just organic. Guys, I'm tongue-tied today.
Say that 10 times fast.
Organic garbanzo bean flour. There we go. Good job, Angel. So I'm going to use 1 cup of this organic garbanzo bean flour. And see, honey, I just keep saying it just to see if I can challenge myself. So 1 cup of that, very simply, for the wings. And I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of onion powder.
Okay.
And this is a half a teaspoon that I have in here, so I'm going to be doing it 4 times, but I promise you this is only 2 teaspoons. And then I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and since I love garlic and we love garlic so much, this is where the whole teaspoon happens to be sitting.
Honey, you talk a lot about using the garlic powder and the onion powder and things of that nature. And you know, when you go whole food plant-based, you know, your taste buds will change for sure. But you really got to have some staples to give you some flavor, right, to your food. And you've been just unbelievable in coming up with what works for us. But I know our audience will have other spices and other things that work for them. But why don't you talk to that a little bit?
You know what? That's actually such a great point, and I think I take it for granted. But I'm so glad. That's why I have Terry here, because he reminds me of the things that are important. I do want to talk about that, though. Thank you. Do not let me forget. Let me mix up the rest of this ingredient.
All right.
And so. You know what's in here? Black pepper to taste. So if you like black pepper, if you don't, it's not a must. For the wings, I'm actually going to put in 1 tablespoon of Sriracha just to kick them up a little bit. And then your dipping sauce can also be hot or mild. Terry loves and I love barbecue sauce, so we usually use that for dipping. But you can use so many things. You can use Tabasco sauce or hot sauce or make up your own sauce. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're dippers for sure.
We're definitely dippers. So that is just really the flour, the garlic powder, onion powder, pepper to taste, Sriracha, and I'm going to use 1 cup of our favorite plant milk. As you know, the unsweetened, original, Planet Oat. This is so awesome as far as a plant milk, just because it does have a half a gram of fat, but for a plant milk, that's pretty incredible with no sugar.
Yeah, the unsweetened one is the best one that we've found.
And sometimes it's not easy to find.
Right.
But you know.
That's good. That means a lot of people are thinking healthy and thinking healthier, and
that's exactly correct.
You can't even keep it in stock. So that's great.
That is actually a really great thing. Although when I go to the store and I want it. So then I get jealous.
That's not such a great thing.
I'm like, who got here? Terry's so good though when we're at the store because he's like, I'm gonna go ask the guy, and he's always going to say, hey, do you have any more of this? Do you have any more of that? Because he knows how important it is for us to have the things that we need so that we're set up for success, right, honey?
Absolutely.
And having that plant milk is really important because that's how I make my nice cream at night. That's how I make this. Terry uses it in his oatmeal in the morning. I mean, there's just so many things that we actually use that plant milk for.
Absolutely.
So when they're out, I don't really like to go for an alternative because some of the alternatives are pretty fatty.
There's really only a few stores that you can find it. So then you're limited in the stores you can find it. So
yeah,
we try to
I
stock
saw
up
they
on
did
it.
start carrying Planet Oat at BJ's Wholesale Club, which I was really excited, but it's not the unsweetened.
It's a
But
regular.
I was really impressed.
Yeah, me too,
I mean, they've
absolutely.
done really good, some of these big box stores with some of their
Agreed.
things. So here's just that simple. I mean, it really is that simple. So what I do, and if you don't want it hot, leave out the sriracha. Depending on who I'm cooking for, I don't always use the sriracha, but the last couple of times I've made it with the sriracha and we happen to really like it because I'm not using a whole bunch. I don't like my mouth to burn. I just don't. That's not enjoyable for me.
Right.
I don't like my mouth burning. I'm gasping for air. That's not a fun eating experience for me. So
Right. A lot of people do.
if some people do like that, knock yourself out. So
Go for it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm gonna do, honey, you can finish. Thank you so much. I just took this I'm gonna clear this off for you.
Okay,
I just
thank you, man.
take his cauliflower and I dump it into my dredge. So you see, I have the easy part.
You want me to take care of these tomatoes?
Finish chopping those, or not chopping, but slicing these
Slicing and dicing?
into our little discs here. So I'm just gonna mix this up and I'll tell you what I used to do. And I promise I'm gonna get to the spice conversation because I'm really excited.
I know you haven't forgot. I know you haven't forgot.
Yes, I don't ignore you. I listen to you loud and clear. Once I get these all kind of coated and covered, you just do like this. I used to put these just like this on a parchment lined sheet and put it in the oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 18 minutes, and then I would flip them over and cook them for 8 more minutes. That's pretty much bulletproof. But what I noticed is they were sticking pretty good to the parchment paper. So then I moved to a sill pad, and I started using a sill pad, and that was like amazing. It's so much better than the parchment paper. Believe me, I got them unstuck from the parchment paper. It wasn't that big of a tragedy, and they were delicious.
Right.
But they did stick, I mean, just to be honest. And so I moved to the sill pad, and then I found I said, I want these crunchier. And so what I did is I thought, well, why don't we try it with panko on the outside? So we tried it. My whole life changed that day. I mean, I want this, I crave this like a lunatic.
They were just kicked
You're
up.
You're gonna see. It's
10
amazing.
degrees.
Kicked up for sure. So that's all I did. You have your best friend, cut your cauliflower, mix those couple of ingredients together, mix them in here. You don't have to be gentle with the cauliflower. It takes this on really, really well. And then what I'm gonna do, and I don't even use the sill pad anymore now because I'm going to use the panko. So like I told you, there is a fat-free panko that I get at Trader Joe's that I really like. It's delicious, but because we were doing the Walmart haul, I did find this fat-free 4Cs, so the jury's out on this
We'll
one.
see.
We will
see.
But what I'm gonna do is just coat these. What happens is this coating, let's put a cup in here.
Okay.
That's called the eyeball cup.
Okay.
And so this coating actually prevents these from sticking to the parchment paper. So not only don't they stick to the parchment paper anymore, they're also crispier. So now I get more crunch. You know I love crunching. And they're not sticking to the parchment paper. I mean, it's like, you know when somebody like seriously fries something and you get that, that's how these are. Did you like that noise, by the way?
You definitely perfected this.
Yeah. So
recipe.
this is what I do. Maybe I'll add a little bit more. I've never used these breadcrumbs before. The ones from Trader Joe's seem like they might be a little bit like thicker or something.
Okay.
But it still
all
seems
good.
really good. Can you hold this bowl up for me, honey?
Absolutely.
So what I'm gonna do is dump all this out, not so graciously. You know me, I would have never made a ballerina, for sure. But I'm gonna spread these out on here, and I'm gonna show you how they're not gonna stick. It's pretty incredible, because if you have made the wings before and you're at home right now shaking your head like, yep, Angel, I know. They definitely stick. You are correct, but these don't, and they're crunchy. And another thing is, you could actually coat these if you want with your dipping sauce. So you could put your Tabasco right on here, or your barbecue right on here, and bake it like that as well. But I mean, we like to have all the senses of the things that we enjoy when we eat. So when we're done eating, we're fully satisfied, we feel great. It's just a whole experience for us.
Exactly.
And it doesn't take any more time if I would dump the barbecue sauce in here, or if I dip my wing in it. And because Terry really, honest to goodness, loves dipping, he always has, that's a sensation that he loves. So why give it up? So I make these sort of plain, kinda. They have the sriracha and all that on them, but not the sauce. But feel free to put your sauce on yours and bake them, and then when they're done, just eat them. You could do it that way too.
It's incredible the difference
18
that
minutes.
just breadcrumbs made with these.
I
It's
know,
incredible.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
So he's gonna put that in the oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a convection oven for 18 minutes. Then I'm gonna show you when we get ready to flip them that they're not sticking. So I'm really excited. For our fried red tomatoes, where I'm gonna do these in my air fryer. You could also do these in your oven. I was thinking about it. You could do one-stop shop. While they're cooking, you could put the tomatoes in there with them as well. You don't have to get all fancy with this tool and that gadget and this gadget. You can have this same exact meal in your oven.
Right.
So
Nice.
don't worry about that. One thing I'm not gonna do with the tomatoes, and like Terry said, this is a new recipe for us. I was thinking about it, and I would never want to mix the tomatoes up like I just did with the cauliflower, because then it would be tomato soup, and it's not so cool. So what I'm thinking we'll do, and we'll do this together as a team here, is we will make our dredge, and then we'll dredge them. And in one, I'm gonna have the wet and the dredge, and in here I'm gonna have the panko, and I think we'll do that together. So let's try it.
Okay.
Let's see how it works out together. I love cooking with you guys, by the way. It's so fun. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do 1 cup of garbanzo bean flour.
Okay.
And 2 teaspoons of garlic powder.
Okay.
Same thing I did before, honey, but just not the sriracha.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think we'll leave the sriracha. I was also thinking about getting really creative with these tomatoes before we did this. And then I said, you know what? I want everybody to be able to do this, and I don't want to start using things in my kitchen that you might not have, that may not be staples to you, because then you're thinking, well, I'd like to make that too, but I don't have that ingredient. So that's the reason why I kept this a little bit simple. But I'm telling you that to say, if you want to add something else, I don't know, you know, ground pepper or some kind of seasoning or whatever.
So customize it to their taste.
Customize it. Put some flavored balsamic vinegar in there. I mean, the options are endless. My mind was reeling when I was thinking about making this, but then I stopped myself because I want you to be able to do what we're doing.
Right, absolutely.
That's the only reason. And then, again, I used 2 teaspoons of onion powder, even though it looked like 4, it was only 2. I'm gonna put some black pepper in here to taste, or however much black pepper you like. And that's really it. And then I'm gonna add in the 1 cup of plant milk. to this, and like I said, I won't use any extra seasonings, but I would tell you to try it because I can tell you that at some point I'm going to, because I love to get creative with the food.
Right, absolutely.
It would be, I mean, the possibilities for this are endless.
Absolutely.
Endless.
Agreed, honey, agreed.
Thank you. I'm going to use 1 cup of the plant milk.
Okay.
So this is really simple if you're making it together one night because you don't even have to think about the recipe. Once you make this recipe once, you won't even have to look at it or think about it because it's pretty darn simple.
It seems pretty simple.
It's almost, you know, the flour is 1 to 1. You do not have to use garbanzo bean flour. If I told you that already, I'm sorry. Use whatever kind of flour that you have. If you want to use whole wheat flour, if you want to use spelt flour. I mean, I wouldn't say use all-purpose flour because it's just not, doesn't give you any nutritional value, but it's not against the rules.
Is there a particular reason why you chose the garbanzo bean flour?
I like the garbanzo bean flour. It's gluten-free. It has the garbanzo beans, so we get protein.
Okay.
And it's just all the way around good for you. It's just organic garbanzo beans, and I really like that. And I do like to try to make, as you know, a lot of my meals gluten-free.
Right, so the gluten-free and the protein are important. That's
the
good.
gluten-free and the protein and the value, the nutrition that we're getting from it. Again, as you know, my son is celiac, our son, so it's really important. These I did not buy in gluten-free because I knew that he wouldn't be here eating this, but they did have these in gluten-free. And the only reason I didn't is because they had an extra something or other in them. I can't remember if it was added sugar or, but there was something in there that I was like, I guess I don't really need to do that. So what I thought we would do, here's my mixture. I thought we would just dredge these a little bit, or a lot of it.
Okay.
And just put them in the panko.
Okay.
Like that. Oh, wow.
Sounds good.
Isn't that nice?
Sounds good.
Look at it.
Okay.
And then we'll just air fry it. So let's do this together. And while we do this, I am going to talk about what you had mentioned, Terry, because I think it's so important.
Absolutely.
Do you want a fork, honey? Would that make it easier for you? If not, you don't have to. I mean, do this any way you want to. If you feel like you can't get them to coat that good, these seem to be coating pretty good. I was a little bit concerned about that. You could add some, sprinkle them with flour or arrowroot. You could just sprinkle them a little bit with the garbanzo bean flour.
You want to do that piece and I'll do this piece?
Yeah, well, we're working together, right?
Yeah.
Twice as nice. So some of the seasonings that I use, to Terry's point, when we first started this, we were coming off of oil. We were coming off of nuts. Again, nuts and seeds are not bad. They're whole. They're natural, but they have a lot of fat in them. So that is the only reason I don't feed them to Terry. It's not that they're not whole food plant-based, because they are, but the fat content is not good for Terry with his, you know, his cardiac stuff. So I like to just stay away from fat. Doesn't mean it's bad for you. So, and it does also help with weight too, if you cut out nuts, because I noticed that when I had gained a little bit of weight, that cutting out the nuts just took the weight right off. So whatever, I mean, if you want to indulge in something, what's the big deal? It's still plants.
Right.
So when you're cutting all of that out of your diet, in the beginning, it's like, where's my olive oil? You know, where is my salt? You know, where are these things that I usually eat? And you have to find your way. So you may know this and some of you may not. So I think it's a really great idea to talk about how important spices are. Garlic powder, onion powder. And although they only sound like, well, they're only powder, but that's okay, because you are going to actually start tasting the food after about a week differently than you would have tasted it.
Yes.
If you weren't whole food plant-based. Because I know that I always say, I felt like our tongues might have been coated or something like that, because we actually taste the food. The food is actually amazing. I didn't even know it could taste like this.
Right.
But the food is incredible.
It is.
So when you start to taste the food, it becomes a whole new scene.
Mm-hmm.
But still, even when we started tasting the food, I was thinking, well, I still need that flavor because I'm big on flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if you don't put salt and pepper on every layer, and not a lot of salt, and only when cooking. Terry and I never salted our food on the plate either.
No.
Because we wanted, to me, when you salt your food on the plate, I want to try it a little bit with the flour, honey, to see if it sticks better.
Okay.
But when you salt your food on the plate before, you would have salty food.
Mm-hmm.
And when you salt the food to flavor it, you have flavored food.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we never really salted. I thought you could do that, and then let's see, we'll tell our friends here if it works better with the flour.
Okay.
I think it actually does. Look at that.
Yeah.
Isn't that
You're
crazy?
Right. Yeah.
So,
You're right.
all right, guys, we're learning together. Put a little bit of flour on your tomatoes before you dredge them in your wet ingredients. Boom.
Yep.
I love learning.
It does work better.
So if you feel like you need to incorporate something, which you probably will, like I said, go ahead and add a little bit of miso paste. I've tried them all. I really like the lighter ones, like the white miso, because they're a little bit milder, but they do have that salty taste. I don't use a lot because I'm not fooled to think it doesn't have salt in it.
Right.
But you know, a teaspoon will do you, and it could change your world. Tamari. We have just enjoyed tamari, and not in abundance, because while I use the low sodium, that doesn't mean no sodium. It means low sodium.
Right.
So I've used tamari in little bits. I'm telling you what I used to use in a big meal, you know, let's call it a half a cup or something crazy. Now, if I add a quarter of a cup, I have to add a quarter of a cup of something else, whether it's vinegar or water or something like that, because we are tasting so much, and you start to enjoy the flavors of the food. And so that need goes away to have all of that salty taste.
Right, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
some of the things that, so I would try the miso, I would try the tamari. As you guys know, one of my favorite things is the low sodium vegetable, better than bouillon. That has been our saving grace. When I found that, I was almost at my wit's end. Because I was trying to make soups, I was trying to make rice, and everything would come out and look good and smell good, and I felt like it was flat. And I am a flavor girl. I want things to taste good, and I'm not gonna play like they taste good if they don't taste good. You either taste good or you don't. And so I use that again. It's low sodium, not no sodium. So I use it sparingly, and I don't need a lot, but it adds that little, just like if you were putting a dash of salt in something, that's what it does.
Right.
It's really incredible. And now even salsas, and you know what else? Pickled things that are pickled, like roasted red peppers, in a jar, only in water. Those types of things that have that pickly taste, they're really good. Again, I wouldn't suggest that those things are no sodium. Some of them are, but some of them are not. So I would be careful, but I like the pickly stuff, and that's how we get some of the seasoning. Are these gorgeous? I mean, gorgeous. And they're gonna be so crunchy. We're just gonna put maybe one more. Let me get a little bit, and then we'll just make a whole nother batch.
Okay.
But that's what I would do. As far as seasonings, basil. I love, we love us some basil.
Absolutely.
So I would do basil, I would do oregano, there's Italian seasonings. You see how I'm going down the Italian road here? Yummy, yummy, yummy. I love those things fresh as well. So the fresh tastes a little bit different than the dry. I use the dry too, because they all serve their purpose. And with the dry, if you put whatever you're gonna use in your hand, you can rub it in your skin, and you know, your skin is nice and warm and the oil from your skin, and put it in something just by rubbing it, and it brings out a whole different flavor.
Wow.
So use your herbs in different ways. Terry and I are growing some herbs right now, so I probably shouldn't have told you that because they'll probably die.
No.
But we're trying it. So use fresh herbs, use dried herbs, use sauces. There's vegan Worcestershire sauces out there that take on a whole new flavor for something. If you want something to taste meaty, I add a teaspoon. Tabasco sauces, they have Tabasco sauces with Old Bay flavors in them, garlic. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Another thing that we eat a lot of is mustard. We eat all kinds of mustard. We eat horseradish mustards. Our favorite are the Dijon mustards.
Dijon mustards, absolutely.
But you can add Dijon mustard to anything. I mean, you could have breaded these and oh my gosh. But add it, and you can add a sweet component to that with maple syrup, or you can add a hot component to that with Tabasco or hot sauce or the red pepper flake. There's so many things you can do. Balsamic vinegars, my hands down favorite. They come in every flavor. It's just incredible. And when you start using them, it's these tastes that you missed before. Hummus. Go after your hummus. Make your own hummus. It doesn't have oil, and then you make whatever you want. Whatever you want the hummus to taste like, voila, you have it because you're putting it in there. And you know what's in there. You can buy it, and if you don't want to make your own hummus, they sell that Cedars, oil-free and fat-free, you know, at Whole Foods. So use that. Even the rice vinegars and the red wine vinegars and all of that kind of stuff, like the rib rub that I use, the sugar-free one, any kind of like seasonings, or there's some sauces that I get at Trader Joe's, like the sweet and savory. I mean, garlic. Did I mention garlic? These are all the things. I'm standing here talking and I'm not cooking these. So we're gonna put these in the air fryer on 425 for 8 minutes, and then flip it over and 8 more minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll see how that goes. Again, I'll let you know if those times are off, so we're gonna try that. Okay, I told you we were gonna show you if it sticks or not, because it used to stick. Oh my goodness. So here we go. It just came out of the oven. You saw Terry taking it out, so this is for real. Hello!
No stick.
No sticking. So I am just oh wow. These are looking so good. I'm so glad.
Looking delicious.
I'm so glad that piece went overboard though. I'm already crunching. Okay.
Crunching and munching.
Crunching and munching. Do you see how easy this is?
Yes.
I'm not
It's
doing
never
it.
this easy.
Never. They stuck. Oh my goodness. They stuck. We still love them, and I still made them a lot, but I would took it, I would burn my hand. Listen, nobody's going to be able to fingerprint me. But, so I just wanted to show you. I mean, these are so crispy and delicious already. I'm gonna put my hand here and hopefully not burn it to move this parchment paper.
Okay.
We are gonna pop this back in the oven, and in 8 minutes, because we just flipped our tomatoes.
Yep.
So we got 8 minutes left on this. We got 8 minutes left on that. The extra tomatoes that we had left over, I decided I'm gonna make a tomato salad. So we're gonna meet you back here and show you how it all goes.
Alrighty.
We are all ready to go.
Oh my God, this looks so delicious, babe.
The smell. Can you smell it? I hope so. You gotta try this.
They haven't invented that yet.
They haven't,
they
but
need
we're
to.
gonna work on it, right? So like I said, we had some extra tomatoes left over. I just whipped up a quick tomato salad, and that meant Terry cut these tomatoes, so I didn't want to waste it, and he was so kind to do it, so I put it on a plate, sprinkled some oregano on here, and you can use any kind of balsamic vinegar you want. I use the tomato basil. Use whatever you want. It doesn't matter, but
Can't go wrong there.
You can't go wrong with tomato salad. It's so delicious. We also whipped up one of our go-to salads because we love salad, and we're gonna have this. I mean, we're having a ton of veggies, so there's no guilt. Crunch away, people. So what we're gonna do, and you know what? I don't have a pot holder here, and I don't want to get burnt.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is show you that I think the tomatoes that we coated with the garbanzo bean flour first are these, and the ones that we didn't are these. So, I mean, they're both all gonna be good, but you can see these ones that were coated.
Are completely coated.
Completely coated. I cannot wait to bite this.
Me either.
So that's that, and then our wings. Are these gorgeous?
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. I hear the crunch. I hear the crunch.
Even eating them plain.
I know.
Unbelievable.
So plate these up.
Terry's like, can we eat sometime today? Well, you know how it goes with me and Terry. We're gonna plate up the wings.
Okay.
No guilt here. And some of these, we'll put these tomatoes over here so we can put the red
Okay.
in the center.
In the center, make it look pretty.
These are nice and warm.
Yes.
And then we'll put our, come over here, honey.
Okay.
And then we'll put our tomato salad
Ooh, nice plate presentation.
in the middle. I mean, who wouldn't go crazy over this? And then we have 4 kinds of dipping sauce. This and our big tossed salad as
Yes.
well. We have 4 kinds of dipping sauce today that we're gonna try. So this is not from Walmart, but you should have it as a staple by now because I talk about it all the time. But the sweet chili sauce, if you don't have it, don't use it. Some of the just Frank's or whatever kinds you have. I also have another kind of Tabasco that's like
Hot
Old
sauce.
Bay. So any kind of hot sauce to make it the real buffalo. And then Terry likes this Sriracha barbecue sauce, and it would be
best.
cool because we put the Sriracha in here. And then I like this no sugar added Sweet Baby Ray's because it's sweet. So there is our dipping sauces. Here is our beautiful plate. Let me try to move this without getting burnt.
Okay.
And we get to taste.
The fun part.
Yes.
Fun part. The fruits of our labor, right?
Oh, here, honey.
Awesome. Thank you.
Isn't that
Beautiful.
magnificent? That's magnificent. You can put anything on your tomatoes that you think you'd like. I mean, even some balsamic would probably be good on those. I mean, believe it or not, probably ketchup too because it's breaded.
Absolutely.
So where are we
Okay.
going? I'm dying.
gonna start with
I'm dying for the tomato.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the cauliflower.
Okay.
Okay. And do my little dip.
Terry. Terry.
Wow. So good.
Do you want to try this in the barbecue sauce? Which one?
So good.
This one?
Yeah.
Wait until you taste this.
Wow.
Isn't it
Wow.
delicious?
Delicious. I never knew a tomato could taste so good. Wow. That's it.
Honey, we did so good.
You did so good.
Look how hearty that is. How I'm just picking it up and chowing on it.
Even tomato salad.
Oh yeah, the tomato salad always is delicious. I like this in the sweet.
Let's see. Boy,
Do you hear
are
us
you guys
crunching?
in store for a treat?
This is, that little sweet heat is burning my tongue.
Delicious. Oh my
Terry, look at this.
gosh. Delicious.
Well,
I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was, woo.
we're at the point of being rude. I'll eat the tomato salad
Yeah, we don't want to be
and
rude,
my
man.
other salad. And I don't have a napkin. This was so fun.
Delicious.
I am gonna make
and fun to make.
We make these cauliflower wings all the time, but now that I have my new twist with the panko,
Right.
there's just no going wrong. I know, we got, look,
Wow.
no stick, none.
Unbelievable.
Crunchy,
You perfected it, huh?
delicious,
You
so
perfected
fun. And these tomatoes, wow.
it. Delicious.
Wouldn't they be cool as an appetizer? Oh, I got ideas.
Big
for
time.
this.
Big time.
Okay, we're gonna go eat our dinner.
I hope you guys like this.
Take care. If you
Take
love
care.
what we're doing, you know what to do, right?
Subscribe.
Subscribe to our channel.
We love you
Have
guys.
a wonderful evening.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.